And it's because the biggest thing you have to do as an investor, and this is an investment. You invest in me, I invest in you. We're investing in each other in this family space, and I love you for that. When you think about investing, you have to think about risk and you have to think about the what ifs. So when people say to me, when we talk about building a Black Wall Street, and then someone says, "Well, why would we build a Black Wall Street? All they're going to do is tear it down." I say to them, I would say like, yes, of course they're going to try to tear it down. That's what they're that's how racism, white supremacy works. That's how competition works. That's how, fighting with a dirty partner it works. Capitalism is dirty. I said, but you rebuild, you prepare, you fight to the end. To go into a battle like this, an epic racial battle where the racial wealth gap has been wide for many, many years. It's expanding, like just like space is expanding, the space between black wealth and white wealth is expanding. Um, you have to really understand what you're up against. And you have to have the resilience to say, okay, if they bomb us, blow it up, tear it down, rip it up, we're going to keep on building. We're going to keep on moving. You keep moving, you rebuild, you don't quit. That's how you win. And life is like that too. Life is going, the more you try to do, the more life just throws shit at you. Like, just tell me if you know what tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Like that's like the more you try to win, and also the more you set standards and the more you break cultural norms, the more you try to face generational curses, the more those generational curses and toxins are going to come back and try to fight with you. So you have to have a plan that includes an assumption that something bad is going to happen. And this and by and if you can embrace that idea, if you can accept the fact that bad things are going to happen, they're going to happen regularly. You're going to have the haters, you're going to have the attacks, you're going to have the distractions, you're going to have the issues. If you accept that in advance, you can write that kind of into your business plan in your head. You're just ready for that. Because here's the thing about, and let's circle it back to the stock market, so you don't think I'm talking about a bunch of other stuff. The stock market's like that. Don't ever, if you ever talk to me about the stock market, don't say, well, what if the stock market crashes? I'm going to say, well, of course it's going to crash. It crashes all the time. But it has always recovered. There's never been a time where you've had a crash where there was not a recovery. So the ability to withstand the crashes is what leads you to wealth. Marriage, if anybody who's ever been married and made an investment in a marriage, you know that marriage, just like a stock, that sometimes marriages crash. And the marriages that last and the people that get to, have the 50-year marriages and the family legacies are the people who can maintain their investment during the crash. The people who don't divest just because the market's down a little bit. Believe me, your marriage, your relationships, all relationships, not just marriage, friendships, business partnerships, everything that you do, any relationship that you have with anything or anyone is going to be like a stock. Sometimes it's going to be flying high, sometimes it's going to be in the mud. And what makes that difference between the wealthy and the winners versus those who gave up too early is the resilience, the willingness to say, this too shall pass, the perspective to say, okay, let me just look at the big picture. When I get into a big battle with my wife, I told y'all that one of my biggest investments is my wife. That's the biggest asset that exists in my world. She's worth something that money cannot buy. And let me tell you, whenever we get into a spat, what diffuses the spat is when I just ask myself, I'm like, Boyce, how are you going to feel about this argument 5 years from now? And literally, that stops me in my tracks because what I realize is I say, okay, 5 years from now, I won't even remember what we're arguing about right now.